is what we call
hater shit.
There is no better term.
You know me. If you know me, you know me. If you know, you know. You know, so.
Heather shared a memory from 2 years ago. Get ready, beautiful girl. It's about to rain magic. Oh no. That's not what you need. Heather posted a memory 3 years ago. From 3 years ago. Heather shared a memory from 3 years ago. Call her mama. Sponsored, not connected to Heather Gillespie. Mama gang. Ugh, I don't know why, but I don't like that spelling. Like, I get it. It's like so N. It's totally N. But it's not how I ever wrote it or said it. I need a mama. That's so cute hot, though. Heather Gillespie shared a memory 3 years ago. Heather Gillespie, June 16, 2021. If you want to stay competitive, you must learn and study what the enemy has learned and studied. Shine light on the information and be a sponge. Hashtag dedication. Hashtag motivation. Hashtag consistency. Hashtag love. Heather says, woke up to pump breast milk, missing my family, had another bad dream. It's been years. When will my dreams be of happy things? The memories are the motivation. VLAW. Or like she wants to try to say V-Law. Yeah, I didn't do that. It takes away the freaking kids' names whenever you try to say V-Law. You took enough away from the kids. I unlocked the achievement of collecting 900 diamonds through live gifts. What does that even mean? Someone let me know what these things mean. Just like TikTok today, I was so freaking confused. I don't know what means what. What do you do with what? And then, of course, she had to throw up this freaking thing that I cannot stand with the mom and child walking. And the child says, Mom, what is the meaning of life? And the mom says, you are. But yet, nothing of that describes Heather.
Some others said this person has historically marked and labeled as spam. And as that data set grows, not just from my own email box, from all of our email boxes, the AI is able to get pretty much a good percentage of certainty that something is or is not spam and put it into a special spam folder. That's AI. Input A being audio, output B being text transcripts. The application would be speech recognition. And we use speech recognition as an application in a number of different applications, right? Anytime we have the ability or functionality in our application to use speech recognition, we can do so. We can use speech recognition in text messages. We can use speech recognition in any sort of audio dictation software. So if you are, say, for instance, a doctor translating notes and you prefer to speak into some sort of dictation software about what went on with your patient, speech recognition will type that up for you. Okay, so the input would be the audio, so you speaking. The output would be the text transcript, and the application's name would be speech recognition. And these are all types of AI, and these are machine learnings and supervised learnings. And these machines and this AI is learning from our human behavior. And say, for instance, we complete an entire dictation and we microphone for a half hour and we go back. And the way it works with medical is that typically the doctor himself or herself will go back and edit, or they'll have someone else, like their assistant, I did it a lot, go back and look through the note and say, well, this doesn't make sense. Let me send this back to the doctor. I know what the doctor meant. Let me clarify. And in doing so, when the AI is supervising us as much as we're supervising it, because when we go back to edit, as soon as we say, oh, that's not what I meant, backspace, we backspace it out, and then we type what we really did mean. Now the AI is learning from that. So that additional input is, again, increasing our data set. And the more we go back and edit, the better results we get. Have you guys ever text messaged someone and you click the little microphone and you're like, yeah, I'm on my way. And then you read it later and it's like, yeah, what rhymes with on? I don't know. It's like all messed up. It's like, I'm phone, you're May. right?
What? No,
And you're
girl.
like, that's not
it
what I
does.
wanted to say. When you catch those mistakes before pressing send and you backspace out of them and then correct it, you are contributing to the learning dynamic for artificial intelligence, and you are contributing in a way that's positive to artificial intelligence, and you're teaching the AI, and we all are. So we all have the opportunity. That's why I always say AI is programmed by human behavior. When we go back and we press backspace, and we write what we truly meant to say, now the next time we say that, the AI is going to recognize, oh, I know what I thought it was the first time, and that was wrong. So I'm going to take a guess that it's what they backspaced and what they manually typed in. And then once you don't edit that anymore and you press send again, now your AI is like, yeah, I got it. So it's a really fantastic way, to grow these data sets without even needing to hire humans to go and do this. It's just us using the technology. So it's great that they released this technology before it's 100% foolproof, because if they didn't, if they just had one scientist or like a group of 10 guys or gals going through and entering this information, it would take decades. It would take centuries to get it all right. There are millions of us who have cell phones, and we all have the opportunity to contribute to that data set. That's why, the cell phone became popular in the last 30 years. I believe I was about 7 years old when my mother got her first cell phone. It was one of those Nokia brick phones. The only game on it had no internet. It had text message and calling, and the only game on it was Snake, I think, or Pong maybe it was called, where you had to guide the snake through the little bricks so that it didn't eat its own tail or run into a wall. And then the one with that little thing at the bottom where you bounce the ball off of the wall, playing ping pong by yourself. Those were the only games on her phone, and we thought we were the coolest kids on the block because our mom had a cell phone, and probably 3 kids in the school had their parents had cell phones at that time. So that tremendous amount of user activity with these cell phones has resulted in the data sets growing substantially and the AI having the opportunity to learn with us in a way that's incredibly fast, way faster than ever before. That's also freed up a lot of the technologists who would traditionally be entering these trial and error type of speech recognition issues and things of that nature. They're all focusing on AGI, artificial general intelligence, and they're all kind of learning about robotics and all of these other exciting developments. Another input-output would be entering something in English, the output of Chinese, and that application is machine translation or language translation. Another one would be image radar. Right? So if we're talking about a self-driving car.
Oh no, I don't want that.
Self-driving cars are basically, these self-driving cars are looking for objects, people, places, other vehicles with image radar. And the output is the position of those other cars, those other objects. And the application is the self-driving car, which the purpose for that is so that you don't have an impact. So these cars, or, a physical impact. So these cars are visually looking around and saying, well, I don't know what that is, but I think it's a person, and I don't know what that is, but I think it's a car. And we're teaching with these applications that if it's on a road, if it's moving at this rate of acceleration, if it has these approximate measurements, it's likely a car. And so we're teaching the AI to recognize not only when objects are in our way or on our path, but what those objects are, and then giving the car an instruction on what the car should do after recognizing what kind of an object it is. A stop sign, for instance. What does a stop sign look like? We are teaching what a stop sign looks like to our vehicles. And what do we do at a stop sign?
This is so boring.
We decelerate and then we come to a stop. And our cars are learning that. And So, what else? Sequence of words. Next word, that would be a chatbot. Like if you're, have you guys ever gone on some sort of a website or some sort of a customer service application where it's like, I have a question. I do it with my bank all the time or with Cash App all the time. If you guys are on, if you guys want to donate, please donate to my Cash App. It is, I really need the money. It would be very much appreciated. It's Heather Vlaw, VLAW. If you don't have any money, of course, you're still welcome to be around. I just would very much appreciate any sort of donations that I can get. But sequence of words and next word, that's a chatbot. So we are programming, like with Cash App, for instance, I'll have a question for them and I'll go into the support little area. It's like a little message you click on. Thank you for the hearts and the roses and everything else you guys have been donating. I appreciate it. But you will go on there and you'll say, what is going on with my direct deposit? My direct deposit has not shown as being available. And the chatbot, based on millions of other inquiries about direct deposit, will come up with an answer for you. Direct deposit takes 5 to 7 days, whatever that standard message is. So those, and as people continue to ask questions, those results will refine and be more specific and more helpful. Another good example of that is Siri or Alexa, right? Who has a Siri or an Alexa in their house? Anyone?
No.
No one? Nobody. So Siri and Alexa have voice recognition where you will ask them to do a certain thing. And 5 years ago, if you would ask them to do that, it was kind of like a 50-50 chance, depending on what you asked for. Hey, Siri, what's the weather going to be like on Friday, right? And then Siri would say, I don't understand, in the early days, right? And then once Siri said, I don't understand, but you kept asking the question and refining your question, finally Siri would say, oh gosh, that's right, weather. What's the weather going to be like? And then Siri would give you the answer. And every single time that Siri would give you an answer that you were happy with, that would be remembered. And every time Siri would give you an answer that prompted you to ask more questions, that would be remembered. And that's how we're shaping the way AI listens.
I gotta go.
LLMs are large language models built by using supervised learning, so A to B inputs, to repeatedly predict the next words. And that's what I'm talking about with Siri. And with, no. That's going to be more like a predictable text message. If you guys are ever writing and you write a text message that's like, hey, how? And then you see like in light gray letters, it'll say, are you? And you can simply click return and then your whole sentence is typed for you. So, hey, how are you? That's a large language model. And that is AI, another example, perfect example of AI learning from us. It watches what we're texting on a regular basis and it learns what we say and when we say it and the context in which we say it. And then when we start to type it, it says, oh, I know what she's going to say. Boop. And it populates that information for us. What else? When we train a very large AI system on a lot of data, hundreds of billions of words, we get a large language model like ChatGPT. And this is also really important. The size of neural networks. So the neural networks are the neural networks are the possibilities. I like to use that term to describe them. So say for instance,
she got a hat.
You're asking Siri a question. Oh my gosh. Say for instance, you're asking Siri, I got a little cowboy hat. Those are always so exciting to get. Thank you so much.
That would be pretty
but
cool.
Say for instance, you are creating a neural network. You need a large data set to create a large neural network. And naturally, the larger your data set, the larger your neural network is going to be, because with the increase of possibility, the next causation, the next causality will also increase. You'll have so many more. So,
she likes those.
Thank you so much. Yay, I got my first hand heart. I love that. Thank you so much.
You got one
so
yesterday.
Exciting. Thank you so much. Babe, they gave me a heart holding hand.
Nice.
A heart holding hand.
Good job.
Hold on, you guys. Let me get a sip of my Barnard Palmer. Barnard Palmer. Oh my God. I got another one. Thank you so
And
much.
another
This is an
one.
Arnold.
Arnold. Whoa, God.
This is an Arnold.
Is that like diamonds?
An Arnold Palmer. I'm very articulate, you guys. I stink at this drink, and it's one of my favorite beverages. It's half lemonade, half iced tea. Arizona. They're on sale 2 for $3 right now, I think. At
All right,
or 3
anyways.
for $2. Were they 3 for $2 or 2 for $3?
3 for 2.
3 drinks for $2. They're on sale. The Arizonas at Walgreens. If you guys are local to Chicago, Arnold Palmer. Arnold Palmer. Yeah, and they're really not bad for you. The entire container has only 140 calories if you get the light, and I love them. They're delicious. But anyways, we were talking about data sets and neural networks. So neural networks are these paths that are created with the AI. So basically they cause the AI to say, well, if this is that, then this could be that or that. Invite to join live. Should I do that or
Please.
no? What if they
Yes.
say something mean? I don't know how to turn it off. Invite
Do
to
it.
join. Make new creator friends to reach more. Oh, it went away. But yeah, so the neural network is the AI saying if this, then that, and all of the options. And so if it would be like saying, well, if I have, and this is also part of coding Python, intro to Python, I learned this. If I'm writing with a black pen, use all capital letters. If I'm writing with a blue pen, use all lowercase letters. And if we want AI to have that response, and that's just an example, then we increase the data set in which that is the case,
How do you
in which
do an
in which that
invite?
is the truth. And then we program the neural networks of AI to see that as a signal. Okay, she wants me to
ask?
use all capitals if she's using a black pen. And that's just a very
That would be
basic
cool.
example. And I'll get more into detail with that with neural networks later, because those are really the basis of all the programming and functionality for AI from what I know, from what I've been taught. Data and data sets are just the manual labeling of the information that you know the AI is observing or that we're observing. Acquiring data can be done in a number of ways.
Any old men in here joining in. What the fuck? Look, she's confused. She's like, wait, I don't even know what I'm teaching. What am I?
Oh, so the example that they've given is when we're discussing data, for instance, this could be data and this is a chart, and this could be data and this is another chart. And this is like, for example, housing, the number of square
Housing.
feet, the number of bedrooms, and then the price. Right? So all of this in the chart is data. And when we make a neural network, we are creating pathways and maps of things like any number of things like price per square foot or average price for number of bedrooms or things of that nature. This is another chart with image to word data. So if AI sees this, they label it as this. If AI sees this, it gets labeled as this. And the more of these we see and the more they're labeled this, the more AI begins to recognize them as such. Cats, humans, we could all be humans, but we look very, very different, right? Some
What?
humans are really, really big. Some humans are really, really small. Some humans are, have black hair. Some humans have brown hair. Some humans have no hair.
Red fish,
Some
blue
cats are
fish,
orange.
one
Some cats are
fish,
black.
two
Some cats
fish.
are striped. Some cats are polka dotted. AI learning word to image association requires a very large data set, because we're teaching the AI to recognize that even though humans can look very different, they are or are not a human. Even though cats and dogs can look very different, they are or are not a cat or a dog. And acquiring data comes from manual labeling, observing behaviors, behavior observation, data and analysis. If a machine is overheating, data is collected on the machine's behavior while it's overheating. Why? So that we can know when the machine should start cooling itself or when the machine will malfunction due to an overheat. And the way to do that is by logging the machine's ID, the temperature that the machine, is carrying on average, the PSI of the machine, and then yes or no, does the machine have a fault, which means does the machine stop working? And if you write the machine's ID down and its average temperature or log it in an AI log or its pressure, and yes or no, whether or not it has, had a fault, then you are able to effectively gauge what temperature the machine needs to stay above or below to be able to function and operate, consistently. So that's another form of data collection. Use and misuse of data. So this is important because, well, for many number of reasons, but they say, do you guys know what sales funnels are? Sales funnels? Hit the heart if you know what sales funnels are. Tap the heart if you guys know what sales funnels are. Who knows what Shopify is? Who knows what e-commerce is? Tap the heart. I want to know my audience. Do you guys know what e-commerce is? There's someone, a couple of you do? Okay, awesome. So Shopify, or say you have I have some cookies. I have some Scooby snacks, right? I have some Scooby snacks, and I have, what else do I have in my bag? I have a nutrition bar. So say I want to go into business for myself and I develop my own, snacks and nutrition bars. And I go online and I take a photo of my product and I write out my product details and I post it on a checkout page or a landing page. You don't even need a whole store. And now, well, it would be a website. It wouldn't be a landing page because it would have pop-ups. But you catalog your two products and then you click on the product and the product gets bigger and you have all the product specs and all of the details. All of that is data science. A sales funnel is data science. So what you're going to do is you create your inventory page and you notice that you make 5 sales in your first week. 3 snack cookies and 2 nutrition bars. And you say, I'm not satisfied with that number of sales. 5,000 people saw my ad, but only 5 made a purchase. How can I make this better? How can I optimize this so that I can make more money, so that I can appeal to a larger demographic? So maybe rather than having your photo, of your product in your hand, you stage your photo, you stage your product really pretty, right? You get some better lighting in, you take a better picture. Maybe your description of your product gets less wordy and more detail oriented, more basic but detailed, right? So it's more specific to your product, and you make that change, and then you come back in a week and you analyze that data and you see, oh my gosh, since I changed the photo of my product and the description of my product, I made 7 sales instead of 3 in the same amount of time. That is data science. It's studying, the things that you do, and their outcomes, and then deciding, well, or it could have gone the other way, right? Say that you made the change to the picture and now you only sold 1 because, I don't know, maybe you were appealing to your close, tight-knit group of people who wanted to picture you as like a mom and pop organization, but now you look too corporate, right? It's up to you to analyze the data and the changes that you made with their outcomes, so that you can make more changes and get, the more of the outcome that you are desiring. There was a couple of other things that I really wanted to share with regards to AI. Speech recognition projects like Echo, Alexa, Siri. I told you guys about that.
This is so crazy.
How to build your machine learning
Like, I took
self-driving
my daughter
car,
to work
key
and
steps and workflow of
everything.
data science project. I can get into all of that like the next time I go on, and I'll keep talking about these subjects because I think there's a lot of people who don't know how to access this information, and like talking about and learning these things that I'd love to connect with. And I think that that's the best way, is to just keep talking about the things that are interesting to me, and then like attracts like, so pretty soon the people who are just here to harass me will go away, and the people who enjoy having productive and thoughtful conversation about the same things I like, they'll chime in. Marketing, create 2 websites and run data testing to see which performs better, A to B testing, machine learning, brainstorm framework. Yeah, I'll go into all of this the next time. I think that I'm kind of tired of talking about it today, and I'm also feeling like,
was a dozer.
I don't know, bullied and distracted, and yeah, that's about all. But I did all of this in like 8 weeks. I mean, eight hours. So
what?
It's not a long course. I highly recommend it. Thank you so much. Thank you for all my roses. I love flowers.
You wouldn't think
I
you
love
did.
heart hands. I love rummer palmers. Transfer learning, combating bias. Yeah. Oh, this is what I came on here to discuss.
Oh,
so
gosh.
adverse uses of
Just
AI.
took an
So
hour.
while you guys are creating and seeing these ads that are so scary about AI doing this or doing that, or what it could do to harm you, thank you guys. This is real, okay? Someone today can deep fake with the use of AI, meaning they can hyperimpose a face onto a body doing something and make it look like a person is contributing to something they've never contributed to, or behaving in a way they've never behaved.
Stop trying to make excuses for what you did.
So that's deep fakes. Synthesized video of people doing things they never did. Undermining of democracy and privacy. Oppressive surveillance. I understand, but at the same time, you guys, I hope there's someone in my audience who understands what I'm saying, because I really want to have productive and thoughtful conversation about this. Oppressive surveillance. Should we not be focused on oppressive surveillance being oppressive, but rather the fact that the only people who have a problem with oppressive surveillance are people who have to do things that they don't probably want to do, that are not accepted or societal norms because of the rigid standards that we set, that are sometimes unfair. People who have nothing to hide don't give a fuck if you're watching, you know? I don't, you know what I mean? Like, if you have nothing to hide, if you're not doing something wrong, then
What?
you don't really much care too much about oppressive surveillance. But if the only way you can survive is to do things that are wrong, you do care about oppressive surveillance. So now that we're able to pinpoint that that's a thing, wouldn't it make sense that we help those people? That we help those people? That
Why
we
should you
help
keep repeating?
those people rather than harm them? Rather than separating people from their families and breaking up families, we bring them closer than ever. That we protect the family unit, right? That we reward people who are faced with the most adversity and make the best decisions possible under the most terrible circumstances that there could possibly be. Wouldn't it make sense that we help those people who are suffering, and we use AI and we program AI to develop theories and algorithms that will eliminate suffering, that will block all of the teeth comments from my live streams, things like that. Generating fake comments. There's a big one. Adverse use of AI, generating fake comments. Spam versus anti-spam, fraud versus anti-fraud. Spam is an effort to allow spam. Anti-spam is an effort to prevent it. Fraud is an effort to allow fraud, and anti-fraud is an effort to prevent it. Developing economies. The United States, China, UK, Canada, and many others have vibrant AI communities, but all countries still have a lot of development ahead. Focus on AI to strengthen a country's vertical industry, public and private partnerships to accelerate development of AI jobs. Mobile phones, mobile payments, online education, data entry, and many other entry-level jobs are being replaced by AI, blocking the point of entry on the economic ladder. And this is that illustration I was discussing. But AI is also allowing for this. So maybe AI is taking these jobs, these entry-level jobs, but it's also putting the person who would need to come in down here in a position to be leapfrogged up here.
Leapfrog. I thought it was trampoline.
All of the
that
jobs
bitch.
that the AI is taking away, it's also creating more and new jobs. And the jobs that it's taking away are jobs that people bitch and complain about not wanting to do anyway, you know? Don't feed into like the negative fear-mongering shit about AI, but educate, you know, your friends when you're having intellectual conversation. It's always important to be aware of the possibilities, both positive and negative, but don't, you know, fear-monger with them. You know, people have enough shit to be worried about. Like, don't make it worse. This goes back to the GoPro Solo. You guys, for anyone who doesn't know, on Instagram, you can follow GoPro Solo Production, or 1HGV Law. Those are my handles on Insta. On YouTube, I have GoPro Solo. Those are my handles. On Twitter, I don't know what my Twitter is. I'll tell you guys next time. But I love connecting with, you know, anyone who wants to have intelligent conversation about these subjects. I don't, you know, like people who are mean and nasty and dedicated to argument. I like people who argue. I like people who disagree with me. I'm all for a healthy disagreement, but it has to be productive. I'm all for being proven wrong.
But
you know what I
can't
mean,
be
with regards to
productive.
like my theories
You
and
are
ideas
never
and things of this
productive.
nature. But I don't want to take place in anything that's berating, belittling, abusive, harmful. I like to discuss things. I have an open mind, and I like to see things from all their perspectives. As a matter of fact, Xavier and I were just talking about just learning Scientology. I'm Christian.
What?
Regularly, we go to a church, St. James, here in Chicago.
You better
I go
not.
every Sunday, or at least I have every Sunday for the last like.
Every time I get
So-
off, she's still talking.
More than 7,000 courses from accredited colleges. I'm pulling it up right now. Why are you acting like we have dial-up and it's the 90s?
Did she read a comment?
Here we go.
Or she
So
just
it's
went through?
$59 a month, and $59 a month, and you could do a free 7-day trial if you want.
Oh my gosh.
And
Please tell me she didn't
Coursera,
buy that.
Coursera.
She
I just
did.
love it. You know, I'm actually stuck in a marketing class right now that I find so boring. I don't want the instructor to hear and get offended because everyone has their own teaching style, but
Yes, she did.
I zoomed through what I found about myself, and I've been diagnosed with ADHD since I was but I feel like it's never been a problem if I'm interested in the coursework.
Ooh, what's going on?
I'm focused and bored with the
shit.
coursework.
She's on Adderall.
With the coursework for AI, I never lost interest. I zoomed through it in like literally 8 hours. With the coursework for what did I take after AI? Because that was a good one too. Cybersecurity, intro to cybersecurity. That one was good for me too. I finished that one in like 2 days. The computer programming intro to Python was kind of tedious. And I think that's because I didn't have a translator. So you're supposed to be able to pull up in one window of your computer a coding sort of software. It's like a translator coding software where you can actually begin to practice your own code. And I got super bored about it like just I couldn't stay focused. So that one took me like 2 weeks to get through. But the marketing has just been like 4 weeks, and I already took a 3-month marketing course with Shaw University, and I've studied all of Gary Vee's content and all of his tips and many other people's marketing tips and a lot of content on YouTube about marketing and things of that nature. But the marketing through Coursera has just been, I don't know, you guys, it's like feels so tedious. It's like, God, what the hell, you know?
Gosh.
So that's that. And oops. Yeah, that's about it for today. I think I'm just gonna go and continue watching The Big Bang Theory and probably do a little more Bible study. I'm also a little concerned because the Bible study I've been doing is like incredibly confusing. Like, I have so many questions and I don't have a group, you know? Like, okay, I'm doing...
I want another questions.
The chapter right now, or the book that I just got done doing, is the book of Job. And I wrote, Job was a man in the land of Uz, U-Z, and he was blameless and upright. Like, what does that mean? Righteous, I guess? He feared God and shunned evil. He had 7 sons and 3 daughters. He had lots of prosperity in life and had a lot of livestock, a beautiful home, and many possessions. Satan attacks Job's character to God. So what? Now God and Satan have like a close relationship? Like they're just powwowing it up, or what?
Oh my God.
And then he says, Satan, the adversary, appears before God in heaven. How did Satan get into heaven? I thought Satan wasn't allowed there. One day, God boasts to Satan of Job's goodness. Satan argues Job is only good because he is blessed. Again, what is Satan doing in heaven, right? God allows Satan to torment Job as a test. That's so rude. Why would God do that? That doesn't make sense to me. If all God has to do is be like, no, then why wouldn't he just do that? Like, makes no sense to me.
You have to be mature.
Job receives 4 messages in one day that he lost his livestock, his servants, his wife, and his 10 children.
Yeah.
Job shaves his head in mourning, but still blesses God in prayer. Okay, so this reminds me a lot of my situation. Like,
are you fucking kidding me?
I will question God and
dare.
be so confused, and then I'm still there on my knees, like praying to God, like, please God, help me through this, you know? Satan afflicts Job with skin sores, and his wife encourages him to give up and die. His wife. What the wow. Why would his wife do that? That's terrible. But Job refuses. Job's 3 friends, Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar, come to visit him, sitting with Job in silence for 7 days. So what? These 4 were just sitting there, Job and his 3 friends, just staring at each other, literally for 7 days. And if that's what they were doing, why? You know, like, that's so weird. Like, why? You know?
What do you do?
On the 7th day, when Job speaks, beginning a conversation in which the 4 men share his thought on Job's afflictions in long poetic statements. So they start reciting poetry about how they think Job is a loser and how he must be hiding something and he must not be as good as he appears to be because God doesn't do this to the righteous, right? And Job begins cursing the day he was born, comparing life and death to night and day. Eliphaz believes Job's agony must be due to some sin that he committed. So this is where his friends start laying into him like, yeah, well, what did you do? Because you must have done something. And Job's like, I didn't. And even God is saying he didn't. He didn't do anything. He's a good person. And then Zophar, these are good friends, right? With friends like these, who needs enemies? I'm saying. Zophar implies that whatever wrong Job has done probably deserves a greater punishment. That's terrible. Like, what greater punishment is there than taking someone's entire life and livelihood and their family away from them? I don't know of any greater punishment.
I didn't even hear what she said.
Job calls his friends worthless physicians.
Oh, wow.
So they were doctors? Job wonders why God punished punishes based on action if God can just as easily forgive? And I've had this so many times. I've had this question. If God encourages us to forgive those who harm us, and it says in the Bible a number of times, forgive your enemies and I'll make them mine. So God says, forgive your enemies, the people who have harmed you and your adversaries. And as long as you don't see them as enemies, when they see you as enemies, I'll see them as my enemy, God says. God will vindicate you.
Oh my God.
And Job and it's also unclear to Job how humans can appeal to God's justice. Job believes he cannot articulate to God and wishes for someone who can mediate between himself and God. So he's humble. He thinks he doesn't have the proper articulation to make God understand what he's trying to say. And he wishes for God to let him die. God, I've been there, holy crap, this is terrible. Why don't you just if you're just going to keep hurting me like this, why don't you just let me die? This is terrible. And Job's friends think he is not afraid enough of God. I don't understand that either. They stress their point that nothing good comes from wickedness. Duh, Job agrees. Job maintains his confidence in spite of the criticisms. He believes there is a Redeemer in heaven who will vouch for him. Isn't that God? Isn't that the point of Jesus dying on the cross for us? Jesus dies on the cross so that we don't need to be murdered to be forgiven. So that all we have to do is repent and then we're forgiven. None of this makes sense to me, you guys, and I'm really trying to understand the Bible. Then, without provocation, another friend of Job says that he believes Job has spent too much of his time and energy vindicating himself rather than leaving it to God. How hard is it to sit around being lied on? Oh, you're this, you're that, you did this, you did that. Especially when the people who are lying on you have the power to destroy your life.
That's why she's mad.
Who's going to just sit there quietly? I mean, in my opinion, you would be a loser. You would have to be a loser. There's a Kim Kardashian TikTok that's like a voiceover of her. She's like on the phone with her sister and she's like asking Khloe, what do I say? And Khloe's like, and destroyed to just lay there and let someone say all of these terrible things about you. Now, if it's someone who, their opinion really doesn't matter, then that's one thing. But when these are people, God himself and people with the ability to punish and harm you, why we're taught to defend ourselves. We're taught to be our own biggest fans and advocates, are we not? And then Elihu, another of Job's friends, believes that God communicates with humans in two ways: visions and dreams, and physical pain. He thinks pain and relief of pain symbolize love and forgiveness. Elihu says Job's excessive talking is an act of rebellion against God. So he wants God. Job already sat there for 7 days. They took his whole entire family away, and now he's just sitting there like, what the hell? Not saying anything. 7 days of silence isn't enough. And we're always, who here has ever tapped the heart if you've ever been encouraged to share your feelings, right? Aren't we going through this whole revolution of being communicators and sharing the way we feel and, saying the truth? Upset with Job's friends, Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar, for giving Job unsound advice. So now God is saying, Job was right the whole time.
He knew
everything
he was right.
doing was correct, and you, friends, you're the problem. God is saying that.
He said you can test
and God
him.
returns,
That's pretty
and
much
Job
it.
defends them. Job defends them to God. What? Job was just getting all this unsound advice from these people. God came down and even said to them, you're bad and Job is good. And now Job goes to God, well, actually, God, they're good. What? So confusing. And then God, because Job defends his friends, I'm assuming that there's nothing in the Bible says it's because of this. It just says Job defends them and God forgives them. Do you know how many times I've defended people who have raped me, robbed me, harmed me in some way? So is God forgiving them but leaving me out in the cold? Because my things have not been replaced, So in forgiving these people and getting them forgiven with God, am I doing myself a disservice? But no, I'm not. Why? Because look, God returns Job's health, providing him with twice as much wealth, property as before, and children and an extremely long, happy life.
Yep.
So I'm just here, learning as much as I can. I do have an interest in Scientology, so we're kind of looking into that. I have a $200, if there's any sponsors here in the crowd.
You have a what?
I have a $200 request for this month. If you guys could help me through Cash App.
Another large request?
That would be fantastic. If there's anyone in the crowd, which I highly doubt based on the comments, but some of you in here might be quiet, which I appreciate that as well. If you don't want to be targeted, I completely understand. If there's anyone in here who has part-time or remote work opportunities, I'm very intelligent. I'm well-spoken. I'm capable and willing to do office work, home organization work, take care of children or elderly. I have home health care experience. I was a medical assistant clinically and an administrator at Northwestern, Alexian Brothers. I've scrubbed in on sterile procedures and helped doctors get sterile for procedures. I've worked in a number of I've worked as an advocate for filing legal documents for immigrants, for divorce for immigrants, for marriage for immigrants, for papers for immigration. I've done translating, and not in a professional capacity because I don't know how to speak like book Spanish, but I know how to communicate in Spanish. So if anyone has any work like that, literally whatever you guys have, I'm completely, willing to give it a try if I don't know how. And if I know how, I'm sure I can knock it out of the park. So please send me a message if you have any opportunity. I have sent out like 1,000 resumes and I'm doing that, checking on the children, learning and trying not to cry most days.
Get a job,
that's been the schedule
Heather.
for the past 5 years. So
no excuses.
Thank you guys for being here. Maybe next time I'll accept one of those live join request things. I'm gonna charge my phone for I'm gonna charge my phone for a while and probably eat dinner, and then maybe I'll come back in the evening and watch some Big Bang Theory. This is the episode. Have you guys seen this episode? Sheldon and his spot. Penny.
I can't believe they got like cable.
Her arms look super toned. All right, you guys.
Oh my gosh. Okay, obviously his face, he's like, really? Oh my gosh. Titty, gosh. Look how long he's getting. She looks high. She's on the phone with her son, holding her youngest son. No. It's so crazy. It's so crazy because I just don't know if I don't know if I can't see Heather with the baby. I don't. Like, it's almost weird her just holding a baby. And it hurt. Like, I'm sorry to say that, but it's just the patterns, man. The actions. It's very sad. Look how cute he is. Him's gonna be just fine.
I just spent the last 45 minutes watching reviews on the $30 and $50 ice balls and cubes from Erewhon.
Why? Oh my gosh. Dictionary Faith 1HG. I apply/circulate resumes regularly and am available for home care for both adults and children as well as home organization. Heather the Helper opportunities. Heather, you cannot help yourself. Like, you cannot help nobody else. June 17th, 2024. Monthly budget. You got a budget? Oh, sponsors. Listen up. Monthly budget, $200. $50 to each of the big kids, and $50 for breast pump storage bags, and 2 new outfits for baby, $50 for personal expenses, leggings and socks, foundation and phone bill. I pray that someday soon I will have a budget for real pants like jeans and a shirt. Girl. Like, this is pretty much all, like, the caseworker has to show you. Is how do you think you're going to take care of this baby whenever you're online asking for all this? You can't ask for all this stuff. Like, how do you expect, like, that's not you raising him. You're dependent on multiple people. And what if that falls through? He just doesn't eat? He doesn't get his butt changed? He don't get clean? Please send contributions via Cash App, 1HG. By going out, I mean shopping at thrift stores for clothing, flips for profit, finding some stability in my health or spa, detox services like sauna, pool, I love to swim, etc. That's your problem. Is there like real homeless people who really need that shit? They're not thinking about no fucking spa and sauna. And you don't go to a thrift store, Heather.
Okay, sponsors, if you could please work $200 into the budget this month. Last month, I did not get anything close to that. I started out with a $500 budget, desirable budget, so that I could start, going out and going to the gym and getting reaccustomed to normal life.
Reaccustomed to normal life. So you want to go out and go to the gym and get reaccustomed to normal life without the baby. Why don't you just say so? I mean, it's like, she wants the apartment without the baby. Like, that's the only reason why she wants him around, is to get her food stamps or cash assistance and a freaking little apartment or whatever it's so irritating, and it's really honestly sick.
Okay, sponsors, if you could please work $200 into the budget this month. Last month, I did not get anything close to that. I started out with a $500 budget, desirable budget, so that I could start, going out and going to the gym and getting reaccustomed to normal life. But I did not get anything even close to that. I can't lift weights, but there are certain things that I can do, while I'm breastfeeding. And I accept that I guess I'm not going to be able to do that now for whatever reason or other. What I cannot accept is, or not without at least resistance and a good amount of effort into finding resolution, is that I cannot just ignore my responsibilities as a mother.
But you have. What do you mean you can't what do you mean you can't ignore your responsibilities as a mother? You've done it for years. What are you talking about? I mean, you shouldn't, but what are you talking about? You can't just ignore you've been ignoring them for years, Heather. That is so crazy. Say it out loud. Maybe if you say it loud enough, you can understand it, and you can actually have a aha moment.
Or other. What I cannot accept is, or not without at least resistance and a good amount of effort into finding resolution, is that I cannot just ignore my responsibilities as a mother. I need to take care of things.